Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Cruise Blog. Today, I'm going to share 11 things I wish I had done differently on my first Carnival cruise. Let's get into it. When I set sail on Carnival Celebration, it was my first time on this new-to-me cruise line. And throughout my 7-night cruise, I certainly learned a lot. There are some things I wish I had done a little bit differently to make my vacation even better, but I'm glad I can use this experience for future Carnival sailings. Had I been willing to splurge on a few things like a shore excursion in Amber Cove, dinner at Bonsai Teppanyaki, and water delivery to my stateroom on embarkation day, I think I would have had a better time. Of course, not all my lessons were about spending more money. Here are 11 things I wish I had done differently on my first Carnival cruise. First, I would have either ordered water to my stateroom in advance or brought a water bottle. In each room, Carnival provides two 50 fluid ounce bottles of water that cost $4.25 each. I ended up caving and buying them because I just wanted to keep cold water in my mini fridge to take my medication with. I was also extremely hot and thirsty when I was finally able to access my room and really needed something to drink. Instead, I would have rather ordered a 12-pack of 16.9 fluid ounce bottles in advance for $9.95. The smaller size would have meant that they would have been portable, and I could have taken them ashore with me or drank directly from the bottle instead of having to dirty a glass every single time I wanted some water. I also wish that I had skipped Guy's Burger Joint on embarkation day. I had heard so many people talk about Guy's Burger Joint, so I was excited when I finally had the chance to try it. It took me over an hour to make my way through the queue, order, and finally sit down to eat. When I go on my next Carnival cruise, I know that I need to explore all of my dining options on embarkation day before deciding. Something I didn't bring with me was a USB charger. There were 2 USB ports next to the bed in my inside cabin. However, I only brought USB-C chargers, meaning that I was unable to charge my phone beside of my bed. There were also more USB ports than standard American plugs on the vanity. If you're planning on traveling with multiple people in one room, you'll want to make sure that you have USB chargers. Otherwise, you might be stuck rotating who is able to charge what device. There were no European outlets in my stateroom either, which kind of surprised me. I had actually brought an adapter in case I needed it. I wish that I had ridden Bolt on the first or second day. I saved my Bolt roller coaster ride for the very last day of the cruise. That morning, I made my reservation for around 1 p.m., giving myself plenty of time to digest my sea day brunch. When I showed up, I discovered that the ride had actually been closed since 9 a.m. due to high winds. Thankfully, the ride opened up around 3, so I was able to try this one-of-a-kind experience at sea. If this is a must-do for you, I recommend crossing it off of your list as soon as possible. You don't want to be in a situation like I was. I was so anxious that I would not be able to ride one of the only roller coasters at sea. Next time, I'll skip certain onboard activities that cost extra, as they really aren't all worth it. Like all mainstream cruise lines, Carnival has some activities that do cost extra. I was excited to learn that I could play Deal or No Deal, however, a single card cost $25. I ended up kind of breaking even, as I won a free $25 bingo credit that I was able to use the following day. I thought playing Deal or No Deal was fun. Next time though, I'll just opt to watch the live audience member play for $1,000 for free. I thought that I actually had to buy a card to watch. I regret not purchasing a shore excursion in Amber Cove. My favorite ports on cruises to the Caribbean and Bahamas are private destinations, like Perfect Day at Coco Cay and Castaway Cay. I love being able to do absolutely nothing all day on a beautiful beach without feeling like I have to spend extra money. Amber Cove is privately owned by Carnival Corporation. However, it's not beachy. Instead, the only complimentary activity is a large pool and splash zone for children. If I wanted to go to the beach, I would have had to purchase an excursion through Carnival or a day pass and pay for transportation on my own. The pool vibe didn't really interest me that day, so I didn't spend much time ashore at all. Speaking of shore excursions, I didn't really plan my time in port ahead of time. The only port I had a loose plan for was St. Martin, because I had always wanted to visit Maho Beach. I ended up heading to Maho Beach around 10 a.m., not realizing the majority of planes were scheduled to land later in the afternoon. While I got to see one plane land, I just wasn't willing to stick around for hours at the crowded and hot beach. I wish I had planned my day differently and headed there after lunch, rather than before. I didn't do anything noteworthy in San Juan either. Since I had already explored Old San Juan before, this would have made a fantastic beach day. Or, if I had planned it right, I might have even been able to take a short tour to the National Forest. My point is that it always pays to do research ahead of time, even if you've been to the ports of call before. On my next Carnival cruise, I'll make sure that I get to the Lido deck at least 20 minutes before the Sailaway party. One thing I was anxiously awaiting to experience was my first ever Carnival Sailaway party. While on board Carnival Celebration, I headed up to the Lido deck just 10 minutes shy of 4 p.m. when everything was scheduled to begin. And it was just as hectic as I imagined. I was greeted by a 30-minute wait at Red Frog Tiki Bar, as well as struggling to find a single open space to stand. Another thing I would have done differently was pack more casual clothing. While I knew that the overall vibe of Carnival was more casual, I really did not expect it to be that much more casual. On the second night, I saw a girl show up to dinner in UGG slippers and realized that I honestly could be wearing whatever I wanted to. On vacation, I do enjoy doing my makeup and wearing cute outfits in the evenings. However, I appreciated the fact that I never felt like I had to do it. While there was a good bunch of people who really dressed up for Elegant Night, there were also people wearing t-shirts and jeans. No dress code was enforced. I enjoyed the comedy shows, but I wish I had seen a playlist production at some point. Comedy shows are some of my favorite forms of entertainment, and I loved how Carnival had 18+ shows every single night. I think I overdid it though. Rather than seeing a variety of different things, I really only focused on the punchliner shows. I heard a bunch of people talking about how talented the playlist production singers were, so I wish I had made time to go see at least one of those shows. Finally, I regret not trying any specialty dining options. As good as all the complimentary food was, and I was surprised at how good it was, I wish I had splurged on a specialty dining meal so I could compare those dining experiences to other cruise lines. No restaurant had a cover charge over $50, which was a nice break after always seeing the expensive options on board Royal Caribbean ships. I'm thankful that, despite all of my mistakes, I had a fantastic time on Carnival Celebration. Now I know how to better prepare for future Carnival cruises to make the most of my time on board. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and head over to cruise.blog for more helpful cruise advice. Until next time, happy cruising!